In this video, we're going to take a look at the brand new terrain piece from Atomic Mass Games. Yes, it is the Quinjet. We're going to open it up, take a look and see if it's worth that $79.99 price tag. Hey guys, Rich from Rich Me Gaming. Hope everyone is doing fantastic. And yes, eventually, my Quinjet hath arrived. CP72. I've seen some pictures of this. This thing is an absolute beast. So we're going to take a look at what's inside, and I'll then build it. We'll do a review of it, tell you guys what I think of it. Is it worth the value for money? And whether or not I think you guys should be adding it to your collection. So yeah, let's jump over to the other camera and we'll take a look. Okay then guys, well first I'm going to apologise. I have had to zoom all of the way out on this one. Put it on the 0.5x camera because it is an absolute beast of a box. And you guys know my thoughts on over packaging. I am not a fan, so I'm hoping that this is not another case of it being completely over packaged, but I have a sneaky feeling that this may be the case, because whilst it's a big box, picking it up, it feels quite light. Now this does have a price tag of $79.99 USD, which is very, very expensive. It's oh, there we go. Shot of the shorts, by the way, rocking. You can just see these very colourful shorts that I've got on at the moment. So yeah, $79.99. I believe it's the most expensive terrain piece that they've made. But it is a bit of a beast. So we'll take a look and see what we get here. So Quinjet terrain pack, built for high speeds and rough landings, combining the technological prowess of Wakandan engineering and Stark Industries. Quinjets have served both the Avengers and SHIELD operatives as a rapid response vehicle able to carry them where a crisis mounts. Agile in the air and the vacuum of space and resistant to the pressure of deep water operations, Quinjets are a crucial part of how the Earth's mightiest heroes and covert teams can arrive wherever they are needed most. And obviously we know the Quinjet from the comics, from everything else. Right guys, this is the moment of truth. This is the moment of truth. I'm going to pull my camera off here a second and just zoom into this box. Now, what I'm going to say is there are some bulky pieces in here. So actually, whilst it's not completely full, it is nothing like what the NYC apartment building was in the Sanctum, where it was literally half of the box was completely empty. So AMG, you get a pass on this one. But let's have a look at what is inside the box and how it is looking, because there is a hell of a lot of plastic on here and not much of anything else. Let me just check and make sure I'm not missing any instructions, which I was. So I was missing the instructions. Once again, QR code, which I've just started a new job, and it's all around. I'll maybe tell you on a video one day what I actually do for a living. It's pretty cool. It's working with artificial intelligence and augmented reality. So this sort of thing, I think you're gonna see more and more often now. But yeah, so read this first, use the QR code, and then I always forget to do this, but I think because this is a beautiful model, I believe the credits on this is the sculpting was Nate Brooks, and it is. I mean, obviously, you know, it is a really good sculpt, and then it was actually Dallas who painted this. So props to those guys. I'm sure they're not the only two people involved in it, but yeah. So let's take a look and see what we get then in here, because as I say, there is a lot of plastic, but from what I can see, not actually a huge number of pieces. So quite surprisingly, this is a single piece. And just looking at it, it doesn't feel like there are a lot of... It does not feel like there are a lot of mold lines on here, which is pretty good. Now, often on the vehicles and things, I think they tend to be easier to get away with anyway. But yeah, that looks pretty good. I gather that's going to be the underside. Obviously, look at the instructions and we will find out. I like these big bags. I always keep my bags just because. Then let's have a look in here and take a look. So yeah, I mean there's quite a lot of pieces. So this is the base that I believe is optional, that you can put it on there. And everything that I've read so far and seen is saying that you need to weigh this down. So I'll let you guys know about that one. I'll maybe not glue it fully first of all, and then I'll give myself that option. Then obviously we've got the wings, but yeah, not as much plastic as what I was expecting. A lot of plastic, not in as many pieces as I was expecting, I will say. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to go away. I'm going to build this up, and I will then show you it in all of its glory. So yeah, it'll be mere seconds for you guys, if that. But I'm sure this one is going to take me a little while to put together. So I will be right back. Okay guys, so we are back. That was about 45, maybe 50 minutes at the absolute most. What I will say is I do need to do some cleaning up still on this. So I do need to go around, just re-glue some of the pieces because they're not quite glued in properly yet. Everything's pretty stable with it. But yeah, a very, very easy piece of terrain to put together. There is a couple of little mold lines that I do need to clean up as well, but I will go over that and do that before I actually start with the painting. Again, a couple of bits here where it isn't quite glued properly, but no real issues whatsoever. This is the base that you get with it. Now, I did mention that I'd seen reports or seen videos that this was very, very back heavy. So the center of gravity was all the way at the back and that it had problems. So I took these here and I put 8 of these stacked up in the front end here. And even with 8 of these in, it does not hold in place whatsoever. So yeah, not sure what else you can do. Well, I mean, probably put more weight in there, but yeah, I would highly recommend putting some additional weight in there. Let's say I just use these washers. Let's say a good 8 of them went in, and I was quite surprised when that didn't keep it upright. But as you can see, I just do that there, it will not stay in place whatsoever. Now it's not too much of an issue because my plan once it's painted is I will be actually gluing it to this base, so there's no real problem long term for it. But yeah, if you wanna keep it off here, definitely recommend you do put some more weight in the front end there, because yeah, it's not keeping up right with its own weight. So that's the only downside I would say to this. Is it worth the $80? Guys, it's a real hard one because this is another one that is a licensed thing. But I had a quick look online, and you can get licensed Quinjet type models, you know, from hobby stores and things, and they're coming in for a very similar size, sort of $30-40, so half the price of what this is. And you know, I will again say that this is, you know, this is definitely better quality overall than what you get from those sort of little hobby, you know, Airfix-esque type models. But I just think it's another one where, unless you're really into your terrain, then I think there are probably more cost-effective options out there. I do like this little base that you get with it, but yeah, it's not enough. It's not enough to justify the overall cost. I mean, it is a big piece of kit. Just hold that there a second, and I'll grab who have we got here. Oh, aptly, we do have Nick Fury here. So you know, it is. I would say it's almost to scale. Almost, not quite, but yeah, not far off being to actual real scale, and people can stand on them. Okay, now it is worth pointing out that this is a new classification of terrain. If we turn it upside down, you can see here. Hopefully, you can see here. Anyway, there we go. It is going to be 4x or x4. So that means it's a size 4 piece of terrain when it comes to line of sight and cover and such things. But the X part means it is non-interactive. So you can climb onto it, you can climb over it, you can gain cover from it, but you can't pick it up and throw it, which seems a little bit strange to me. The other thing that this really does bring problems with is the fact that line of sight and cover in this game works in a very particular way, and having an object like this that is, you know, you can see underneath, you can it's not a solid building like most of the other terrain pieces are. It really does start to cause some potential problems, and I'll show you an example of what I mean exactly. And apologies, guys, I am having to hold this here because it is falling down. In fact, let's just let it fall back a moment there. If I grab a couple of characters, and I'm just grabbing what's on my shelf at the moment, you know, usually with a size 4 building, we've got Electra here, and we've got Nick Fury. Nick Fury Jr. here, as we now do have Nick Fury Sr. coming out as well. Now, these models can move all the way underneath here, absolutely no problem. And that's absolutely fine. You know, both models can move under there, no problem at all. They could potentially be stood underneath there as well, but not all models could be. You're not going to be able to get a Hulk or even a MODOK or maybe even the ninjas. Let me just grab the ninjas for a second, because they do go quite high. So yeah, the ninjas don't fit underneath. So I may have missed something, but I haven't seen any clarifications from AMG around what do we class as the size 4 here, because rules dictate that right now Electra and Nick Fury cannot see each other, even though, and I'm just gonna pull this off here a second, and I'm going to, in fact, let me just grab this. It's quite annoying, guys, this part of it, the whole fact that it doesn't stay upright. Like I say, once it's glued down, it should be fine. But let me show you this, what you can actually see from here. But if I'm Nick Fury there, I can see straight through to Electra. So, you know, what are we counting as being the size 4? Are we looking at the whole piece? Are we looking at the sort of top down silhouette of it? I'm not sure. And I think whilst this is a really nice model, I think this type of terrain, with the current rules that we have in the game for terrain and how cover and how line of sight works, particularly line of sight works, it's going to be very, very confusing. So I honestly, right now, unless you come up with some homebrew rules, I would seriously consider whether or not you want to add this into your collection for MCP. I mean, I think what you have to say is there is basically a line that goes all the way around here, and that is where it is. I mean, there's even a base on here as well, as I showed you guys. So is that the circumference? Well, you know, if you've got a size 2 character that can't fit underneath it, then that doesn't make sense either. So yeah, very, very confusing in terms of a terrain piece. It looks, as I say, it looks really nice, but I just think with the way the rules are right now, this terrain piece for me does not fit in and is going to cause more confusion and more grey areas in a rule that is very, very cut and dry when it comes to line of sight and terrain. So unfortunately for me, guys, I cannot recommend this, I don't think. And it's a shame because it's a nice model. But yeah, I just think it causes so many problems, or yeah, potentially so many problems in the game. Guys, guys, I'm just going to move this to one side for a moment because, as I put in the video title, I've had my first ever box or gift, if you like, sent to me by one of our viewers, and this is from Genbu, and I just got a message off them yesterday or the day before, just saying, "Hey Rich, I'd love to send you a little present over." So this little box arrived in the post today. I've been at a family member's birthday party today, and this was here when I arrived back. So I'm just going to let me get my trusty knife. We've upgraded the knife. Let me just open this up, and I have absolutely no idea what is in here. The only clue I have got is would like to send you something that you've said you wanted from listening to your vids. Now, unless this is I don't know. I genuinely don't know what this is. So let's open it up in here, and it is pretty well packed. But let's have a look. Oh, I think I know. In fact, I do know what this is. Oh, guys. It is Scourge with Des and Troy. Genbu, that is absolutely amazing. I will... Look, I've said in the past, I am absolutely fine with 3D prints. I've said in tournaments I've run and everything else that I'm happy with people using them. My only request is that people make sure they have bought the original as well, because if we all just went out and bought 3D prints, then yeah, there'd be no game left. But that, let's just zoom in ever so slightly on it. There we go. Let's is it going to do it? There we go. Absolutely brilliant. Really like that. So yeah, super model. Thank you so much for that. What I may even do is over the next couple of weeks, when I've got a little bit of time, I have just started a new job, as I mentioned. I may even paint this up live on stream. Because that is super cool. But it looks like I can see something else in here as well. Oh wow, okay. This is brilliant. This is like Christmas. Guys, getting presents at Christmas. Here are some alternative colour. Oh wow, they feel... Yeah, they feel really nice, but some alternative colour. Let me just zoom in there for you guys so you can see that. But in this lovely orange colour dice. And yeah, they look super good. Shame you couldn't get an extra crit on there for me, Genbu. That would have been quite nice. Not that I need them after my last game with Quinn. For you guys that haven't seen that, we played a new game, a standard game, the other day. or last night even as of recording this. And yeah, Rocket Raccoon did something like 27 damage to Steve, She-Hulk, and Hulk in 2 activations, which was, yeah, absolutely brutal. Again, guys, the only thing I would say is if you are wanting to use third-party dice at any sort of event, just double check. Even a casual game, just double check with your opponent just to make sure it's okay. I would, very much take the view of it as on as I do with third-party prints. Always ask permission first, especially with dice. These feel like they're weighted very, very nicely. Let me just give them a little roll there. Yeah, I mean they feel actually not that nicely weighted because we got 3 skulls there, but that's just my dumb luck when I'm not rolling dice against Quinn. But they feel really nice. They're a really nice finish on them. So yeah, but we'll do a more in-depth review of those at a later date and just share with you sort of some pointers as to just being careful with them. Let's jump over to the other camera and we'll just go through final thoughts on the Quinjet. Well, guys, there we go. That is my quick review of the Quinjet. Plus, as I said, a huge thank you to Jembu for sending me my Scourge. Holding Des and Troy, this character will definitely be replacing the Scourge that we get in the pack. Really like that. And again, thank you very much for the dice. That is really appreciated. Guys, I don't have a PO box or anything like that whatsoever. But if you do want to send me things to open up on the channel, I am more than happy to accept them. Never expect it, but more than happy to accept it. So yeah, just reach out to me directly on Discord. I'm not going to publish my address anywhere. That would be daft, especially with some of the arguments I get into on Facebook. But guys, let's go back to this Quinjet. It's $79.99. Is it? Let's look at the pros. First of all, it's an official Quinjet, which is really nice. It's very good quality. It goes together very easily. I had no problems whatsoever. The mold lines are absolutely minimal. So huge thumbs up to AMG in terms of the sculpt and the look of this Quinjet. They've done a really good job. So look at the downsides of it. First of all, price. $79.99 is a lot. And, yes, people can get discounts and everything else, but that's the MSRP. That's a lot. That's that's getting into, well, probably more than core box territory. It's more than the Sanctum. It's more than, and I'm pointing back there because that's where my are, but it's more than the Sanctum. It's more than some of the other terrain pieces out there that we've got. But I am going to come back to the functionality of it. We have very clear-cut rules in Marvel Crisis Protocol for line of sight and terrain. We saw it with the Crash Sentinel, where all of a sudden you had part of a building that you could be in. And this, for me, is an even bigger step to very grey areas in this game. And I'm not sure I like that. I like the very clean-cut rules that we have. It means there's no ambiguity whatsoever. And I think this really does add that into the game. So that would be my only word of caution. I would be very cautious about including this into a gaming board that I was setting up for a competitive event, or really anywhere outside of casual play at home. And that was my plan. This was going to make up the fourth quarter of my board that I'm building at the moment, or will still do. But yeah, it's just a little bit strange why it's been built in the way that it is. And I get it's going to be really difficult to do a piece of terrain that is a flying vehicle that is essentially a 3D solid solid block of plastic, or not necessarily a solid block of plastic, but a solid object that you can't walk into. But I don't like what it could potentially do to the game. But that's just my views. It's a really nice piece. collection wise, I wanted it because I have everything, and this was another piece that I wanted. But if you're on the fence, and you're wondering, is this going to add some great playability into my game? I personally don't think it is. Now that's coming from somebody who hasn't used this in a game yet. If you have used it in a game and you've absolutely loved it, please, please, please let me know down, and let everybody else know down in the comment section below, because I'm really intrigued to see how people have played with it. But yeah, I know they had a few over at Adepticon, so if any of you guys that were over at Adepticon have got good or bad feedback on it, then let us know. But yeah, right now for me, it's probably a thumbs down in terms of whether or not I would recommend this one, especially at the price point that it's at. Guys, that'll be it for this video. If you have liked the video in any way, shape or form, please leave a like. It really, really does help. Even, now more than ever before, really, with the way that the YouTube algorithm works. Interactions, leaving comments, leaving likes is sort of the big driving force to getting that video pushed out there to more people. So it really, really is appreciated. Guys, if you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Let me know. That's the way that I can change up and mix up the content that I'm doing. If you do want to support us even further, we do have our Patreon page up and running now as well. To everyone on there already who already supports the channel, thank you so much. You guys help me continue to be able to do this, but also continue to keep producing better content for you guys, which you guys know is coming, is going to be in the form of live battle reports, which fingers crossed we should be able to get recorded in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. Guys, check out the Discord. There's all sorts of MCP discussions going on there. A lot of discussions at the moment around new rosters and everything else. It's completely free to join, absolutely no paywall. As there is even on the Patreon, there's no paywall behind any of the content. The only thing you might get on the Patreon piece from a content perspective is you may get early access to some of the things. But all the content is always free. Never expect anything, but if you do want to support us, it is really, really appreciated. That's going to be it from me, guys, and as always, it leaves me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, bye for now.